boy DJ Waffles on the check-in, and you're tuned into the Pattern Room. I told you I bring the best of the best to sit down with me, and today I feel like I have one of the best, man. I'm gonna get into it. Craig Scott, I'm gonna let you give your intro because there's so many things, there's a plethora of things that I can say. I can start with saying you're a boxer. You know what I'm saying? You can be an activist. You know what I'm saying? You can, yo, filmmaker. I'm gonna let you introduce to the people so that they get a clear understanding of who you are as a person at this point.
My name is Craig Scott, activist, actor, what they call recently released from incarceration after 26 years of imprisonment in federal prison. I'm a father, a filmmaker, whole plethora, like you said, a whole plethora of things, but a boxer I'm not.
Okay,
yeah, I was just acting like I was.
So he's not a boxer. Because I was like, he's gonna fight. I'm like, let's go all of this. Listen, I'm reading this. I'm reading the one sheet like, yo, he's about to box in this joint. Wait a minute, who's doing this? This is gonna be amazing. If he can tell a story, do this, and Shakespeare and boxing, I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. So, take me to the beginning. Take me to Craig Scott from Baltimore. Tell me the upbringing of you in the short, just more so that the fans out there that's watching, they can understand like how all this began. Because remember, you did start with 2 lives, right?
Yeah, right.
I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. And the people out there, if you don't know, just make it.
You gotta watch the movie.
So you had 2 lives and you came in. Explain us that part and like how you got here and.
Well, listen, I was inner city Baltimore kid. My parents were my stepfather and my mom, working class, folks.
Right.
Trying to make ends meet. I had myself and 4 other siblings, and we were just coming up. Poor, basically, you know what I'm saying? Empty refrigerators, lights out, eviction notices, the whole 9 yards, you know what I mean? And really, I think what the pivotal point was, I was going to drop out of school because school was just not working for me.
Right.
I'm broke, so I'm not coming to school with the gear. So I'm not looking right, and so it was just a whole lot of pressure.
So you ready to chalk the whole situation at the earliest age that you could drop out?
Yeah, I think it was 16.
So you ready to drop out?
Ready to go. Yeah, I was like, I just couldn't take the pressure.
All right.
So as fate would have it, I'm sitting in music class, and the music teacher is talking about, hey, there's an after-school program in Baltimore City at the Baltimore School for the Arts.
Right.
They're going to teach you dance, theater, music, visual arts, the whole 9 yards. So there was a TV show on at the time called Fame. I don't know if people are familiar with it.
But the guys with the leotards and doing
right.
Listen, I've seen these things. I might be telling my age, but I've seen these shows.
So it was based on the School for the Arts in New York.
Right.
So I was a big fan of it. We watched it. So when he's describing that, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I might like going to Fame. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm sitting back and I'm like, but what do I know how to do?
Right.
I don't sing. I don't dance. I can't draw. Can't paint. Can't do none of this. So I'm like, man, what about acting? Yeah, let me try. I'm just literally just coming off the top of my head. I've never been in a play prior to that, whatever. So right then and there, I was like, I was on my way home and I sat down and I wrote out what later I would find out was called a monologue.
Yeah, because when I seen it, I was like, he just put. You always just had a leadership thing because you just wanted to do your things your way. Yeah. Because when you said that in the movie, I'm even knowing that I'm like, is he really about to? Yeah. Like, bro, who's gonna believe something that you just said that you just
exactly.
But go ahead, I'm listening.
So and this is just all out of desperation. You know what I mean? Because I know it's not a good thing to drop out. I felt that was what I had to do.
Right.
So now here was like a little out. I might not have to go that route. Gotcha. So I sit down and I write this monologue out about this guy down on his luck. He's trying to get a job. you know, but the dude don't want to hire him, so he goes off with the dude. You ain't gonna hire me, you know, all that. So I put this thing together. My mom, you know, I tell her about it. She's like, boy, you know, I ain't never seen you act before. Other than my only acting, there used to be a show called The $6 Million Man.
Okay.
The Bionic Man. They call him the Bionic Man.
Okay.
And he had, you know, they had to repair him, and they gave him all of this robotic stuff. So in the show, he would walk, you know, he would move. He was moving so fast, they had to show him in slow motion. So I would go through the house like I was, you know, Steve Ross. Burr, 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 burr. That was the only acting I ever did. Okay. So when she hears that I want to, you know, be an actor, she's like, what are you talking about? So I've got to do this monologue that I just wrote up for her. So I sit down in front of her on she's a raggedy old pull-out couch that she was, you know, sleeping on. And I did the monologue. And, you know,
she bought it.
She bought it. She was like, okay. So I went down to, you know, went in front of the little panel, the people who were there. And so they asked me, oh, what piece are you going to do? You know what I mean? Are you going to do something about Langston Hughes or somebody? I was like, something I wrote. And so they was like, all right. You know, so they figured, they go another one, you know. And, you know, that desperation that I was in, I think I unwittingly poured that out in my performance. And I think when they saw that, they were like, hold up, this kid has got something.
So let me ask you that, like what triggers off in your head when you feel like you've pulled something like that off so early at age? To know that it was totally opposite of what you're supposed to do, but it was the right thing to do, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
And it just went your way. Does that give you like will in you to be like, well, if I can pull that off, exactly. I can do anything after that.
Listen, when I was a kid, I discovered that I was magical. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of that, like, I could do, you know.
I think I'm magical now.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I could do things and it would just pop. It didn't have to make sense. It didn't have to be something that I was necessarily trained or prepared for.
Right.
But it's just if I set my mind to do it, you know, I could do it. And that was like, you know, that was in my, you know, that was in that period.
Definitely.
Where I could pull that off.
So take us to the part where you started scaling at acting. And I know you brought up that you was working with Tupac, you was working with...
Oh yeah, I talked to him. I listen, man.
Like...
See, listen here. See, let me tell you something. They got this legend, and it's a legend.
Okay.
Oh, Pac used to do Shakespeare in high school. So Pac used to do... No, that was me.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We need clarity. We need clarity.
So listen, I'm gonna show you when this first started. So I'm fast forwarding. I was in prison. So we're reading the local newspaper in our city, the Baltimore Sun.
Okay.
So, you know, we're reading it, whatever, and they come up with this statement. Oh yeah, Tupac was doing Shakespeare in high school.
Wow.
I never did no Shakespeare in high school.
That was me. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then this thing just kept you know, it was just, everybody kept repeating it. Oh, you did Shakespeare, you did Shakespeare, you did Shakespeare. It's like, no, bro, that's me. Like, that was what I was known for. But I'm locked up. So you can't, you know, who's that guy?
You can't justify.
Yeah, right. Like he's locked up. So what? Hey, but it's a hell of a story. Okay. So let's give it to the guy that's, you know, become this big, you know, celebrity or whatever. So, but that's how good I had become as far as in acting. That I actually that became my go-to thing is doing Shakespeare. You know what I mean? And so that's so that's why I say stuff like that.
So that brings me to this question. That's why I was going to ask you. Why did you take Can a Nigga Do Shakespeare and translate that into real life? Because I was like, why didn't you just use the Bible or something like that? I was like, why Shakespeare? Why not the Bible?
Right.
Listen, I'm watching it. I'm telling you, I'm watching this. I'm trying to figure out. These are the things that run in my head.
Yeah.
And nobody will never know if I understand.
Exactly.
So, but why Shakespeare of all things?
For some reason, listen. The earliest interaction I ever had with Shakespeare is I was in middle school.
Okay.
And in our English class, they had us read Julius Caesar.
Okay.
So I'm checking out the language and everything. I'm like, wow, this is, you know, kind of different or whatever. But for some reason, it's just fascinating.
Right.
You know, like, okay, the politics, they're going to stab this dude up. They're going to be this big war, and, all this. So I'm kind of catching on to, what's happening. So my interest was kind of piqued. So then when I get into the School for the Arts, they take us to, what's this place called? The Kennedy Center.
Okay.
In Washington, D.C., and there's this British Shakespearean company that's going to do this performance. Much Ado About Nothing. It's actually a comedy.
Okay.
So they got us in the front row, whatever. So I'm sitting here going, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to understand any of this. From the very beginning to the very end of the play, I'm catching everything that they're talking about. I'm figuring out, oh, this is what this is about. I mean, and it's funny. And so when I saw that, I was like, because it was almost like me understanding a foreign language. And when I saw that people could get that kind of message and entertainment from a language that was almost foreign, I was blown away. And so from that point, I was like, yo, I gotta do that. I gotta get into this. I wanna be able to do that. I want to be able to stand on the stage and be able to speak almost an old language, but then people get it. So that's how my interest in Shakespeare, came about. So then later on in life, I got involved with, activisms, looking at the condition of our people in America and things of that sort. And I began to see that a lot of the stuff that Shakespeare was talking about, we were going through the same sort of thing as far as just human experiences. So I would try to make that parallel. But the reason why I use the title, Can a Nigga Do Shakespeare? It's a question. It is not a statement. It is a question. The answer to the question is, no, a nigga can't, but a black man can.
And why is that?
Because I want to make this distinction between this derogatory term of nigga and what we are as black people. And I'm really upset with the fact that we as a people keep using the term as if it's synonymous. And I wanted to make it clear, no, this is not synonymous. Niggas don't do Shakespeare. They don't do positive things. They don't do things that are progressive. That's not what niggas do. Now, we've gotten accustomed to using those terms, but in the reality of what it was designed to, to mean or stand for, no, that's not what it is. Black people do this. Black folks have gone all the way back to Ira Aldridge and Paul Robeson and all these were black men. These were black people. These were not niggas. You follow? So that was the reason why I mixed all of those different components up and came up with this, the film version of, Can a Nigga Do Shakespeare? Yeah.
Wow.
And I hope it makes some sense.
No. It makes a lot. So I know you addressed this too. How do Caucasians actually?
Oh yeah, that was funny. My man Tim, he brought that up. Can white people say the title of my movie, Can a Nigga Do Shakespeare?
Right.
Okay. Short answer, yes. I'm not of the
Is that just a freedom of speech thing?
Well, it's just, to me, I think it's just common sense. I don't buy this thing about just because you're white, there's certain words you just can't say. To me, that is kind of ridiculous, right?
Right.
For instance, if a white person is making reference to a book or a novel, and the word is in it, he's got to bleep himself. He's got to, it's called such and such N-word. I mean, come on. That to me was just too ridiculous. The terminology of a white person using the word nigga is when he's using it for that purpose, to be hurtful, to be disrespectful. That's what's not allowed. That's what's not permitted. But if you're just recounting to me the title of something, or you're just quoting back to me what someone said, I can't tell you, oh no, you can't say that because you're white. So that's
Have you had any white people say that they watched the movie?
Yeah.
And what was their reactions to it? Did they?
Oh yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you what I've run into. Like I've had a couple of white friends and people that I've just met, and they feel uncomfortable promoting it, because they feel as though they're going to get some kind of backlash with regard to promoting a film that has that name in the title.
Right.
So, but no matter how many times I tell, listen, man, bump that. I got you. If anybody's got a problem with it, let them know. I said it was all right, because that's all it is. This is just it's the title of the of the film, and you just happen to be a white person reporting it.
So how do you take in like the scrutiny behind the title, and when you go to promote it to somebody and they be like, well, obviously it's real clickbaitish when you see it, because you be like, all right, I know Shakespeare, then this time you're like, okay, I'll see it. But when you take it to businesses, or you take it to forums where you want it to be in the venues to be played and doing plays, how do you deal with that? Like, is it a long drawn out explanation that you have to give people?
Well, actually, it's interesting now that you bring it up, because I'm gonna go in on this situation. So we have a billboard in the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
What's it? Peach Street?
Yeah, I think I seen your post.
Yeah. Okay, so. I mean, I would like an opportunity to defend the title, to defend it.
We're in a perfect place.
You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, I've got to take this opportunity to, make my point.
Gotcha.
So, the city of Atlanta, this is what I'm hearing, put a lot of pressure on the people, the billboard owners or whatever, about the, about the word. Now, when we submitted it, we blanked out the letters of the word with the little dots, N ...
Right.
or whatever, boom.
Right.
So we were thinking that would be sufficient to, edit it, what have you.
Right.
And other forums have accepted that as a, acceptable way of, putting the word. But for some reason, the city of Atlanta was like, no, the dots is not going to work. So we literally have on the billboard, can a N do Shakespeare? Yes, can a N.
So they jacked up the whole promotional campaign.
Right. I'm saying, you understand? So had we been given an opportunity to explain and defend it, and I'm going to give the officials of the city of Atlanta the benefit of the doubt. Okay. Had they given us the opportunity to explain it, had they seen the movie, had they, what I'm saying? Because I've ran into this situation, before dealing with the play. I think they would have went on and said, okay, let's get it done. With your forum, padded room, right. I may have an opportunity to be able to at least get a chance to redress my grievance about this. But that's the thing, is that most of the time, I haven't had that much resistance.
Right.
The streaming service Tubi, where you can watch the film on Tubi, streaming live right now.
Free TV.
Free TV. Boom. They accepted the N ... and that's how it will appear on Tubi. Mm-hmm. So we never really had any Dame Dash Studios. Shout out to Dame Dash Studios, because we asked them, hey, listen, is the title going to be a problem? They were like, no, because consider the fact that, like, you've got albums, records, and all that sort of stuff with that word in it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what is the big deal? You know what I mean? You edit it just like any other quote unquote curse word, right? And you move on. You know what I'm saying? Right. They got a movie out called FU. You fill in the blanks. I don't know what the language we can use. Right. But that's what they did. They put the letters and they blanked out the other, and boom, boom. And it's on the same billboard that ours is on. But for some reason, you can't say, or can't put the N word with the black. So right now it's can and do Shakespeare. I mean, that's basically what it looks like. So, like I said, hopefully we'll get an opportunity. Nobody wants to tell me, though, who is the government official or the department that makes that decision. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you in A, so that means we might get you close to somebody. That understands that. Yeah. So let me ask you this. What was the goal that you wanted to translate to the people that watch this movie from the beginning to the end? We understand the title, but what did you want the people to understand from the beginning to the end?
My entire career as an artist has always been about education, enlightenment, And the phrase that we always use is raising the consciousness of our people in the community. You know what I mean? And so overall, that has always been my objective with art. That's my personal philosophy, is that in order for entertainment to be of any social value, it's got to elevate you. It's got to challenge you. It's got to make you think. It's got to make you kind of, look at things a little different. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to do with this film. I want to have our people specifically question about this nigga word. And why are we carrying it as if this is somehow a good word to use when describing ourselves? So that's my main focus. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to demonstrate that a ex-con, bank robber, poor dude from inner city Baltimore who, couldn't speak the language properly, the whole 9 yards, can actually, through training, education, and self-improvement, carry out something on a high intellectual level. That's those are my main.
And I definitely like to tip my hat off to you for that too, because like I said, with that amount of time being given to the system and being able to come out and to translate this to people, it's huge. Because you got people that do this year after year and still can't get a movie at a film festival or anything, and now you got something on Tubi, you got YouTube, you got your website, you got stuff like that. So you really got to take that and really understand that you did something great for the culture. Like, that's going to be something that's going to last and it's going to be here. That. For sure. Definitely appreciate it. Definitely. So now that you've done this, explain the part of the fight at the end. Take us to the end.
Oh yeah. The reason why you thought I was a boxer.
Exactly. And I could have sworn he was about to fight somebody. And
listen,
y'all gotta watch it.
Listen, all of the professional trainers and boxers and martial art people, they joke me like crazy. Like, come on, man. I mean, goddamn, bro, you could dip it. You know what I mean? I'm saying, listen, bro, I'm an actor. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to sell it the best I can.
I see you hit the pull-up bar, you had the aerial shot and everything. I was like, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So the whole idea is the theme, if you will, is this battle between the nigga and the black man and woman. You understand? Right. And so what happens is, symbolically, it culminates in an actual fight between those two aspects of myself. Right. You follow? Right. In other words, the nigga side that's not dealing properly with situations and problems, not being responsible, all of the negative things that we, for some reason, want to, kind of associate ourselves with. Mm-hmm. Then that aspect of myself that's, positive, militant, trying to uplift the community, trying to, do the right thing and all that sort of thing. And so they clash at the end of this film in this symbolic fight. But it's a fight within myself. And I'm trying to encourage all of our people, and anybody, to be willing to face those internal conflicts within yourself so that your positive side overrides your negative. So that's the symbolic message in that. Yeah.
And now that we was talking about getting stuff off your chest, right? Right. Now that we're here.
Yeah, because we're here.
So I'm starting so much stuff. All right, tell the world why BU gets the gas face.
Oh my God, BU gets the gas face. Well, what's the gas face? Because this is a whole reference.
Explain so that the world understands why.
Now, to show you that I'm not racist, what was the name of the group, man? It was two white dudes. Third base. There you go.
I'm the DJ.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm the DJ.
Third base. They had a rap called Gas Face. Right. And interesting, they incorporated a lot of political messages, conscious messages within their situation.
Definitely.
And I remember the line that I most remember from them when they were talking about the president of South Africa at the time during the apartheid regime. His name was P.W. Botha. So in the rap they go, P.W. Bolter gets the gas face.
Okay.
And that's the, that's as if, it stinks.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you got, you have to put the gas mask on, whatever.
Right.
It's funking up the place and all that sort of thing. So
Right.
that's what the gas face, means. Anything negative gets the gas face. So, Boston University. Yeah, let's go with Boston University. Now, this is where the whole militant person came into being.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because now, prior to this, I was a chill kind of guy, funny artist. You know what I mean? I love everybody. You know what I mean? Till I went to college and I read Malcolm X, the autobiography of Malcolm X. Why did I do that?
All bets off.
All bets off. God damn, man, what? You know what I'm saying? So
wait, for real, no, for real, Greg. That's what
kicked it off. That's what kicked it off. I got radicalized by Malcolm X after he was long gone and dead.
Wow, off the book.
Off the book. Listen, I went through high school, right? And I never read a novel from, cover to cover. I only read the parts that was going to be on the test,
right.
or the cliff notes or whatever, just to kind of pass the test. So I didn't know. Malcolm X is thick, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes, thick book. And brother, I literally read every single page of this book.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I started on the train ride from Boston University back home for the summer break or whatever.
Okay.
And I just never put it down. And once I saw that and I began to see, learn about our history as, black people in America and Africans and it just opened up a whole other world. Then, he brought the militant, aspect, you know what I mean? Because not everybody was turn the other cheek.
Right.
When it came to the civil rights movement and all that sort of thing. So I didn't really know about that. So he kind of, reading the book opened my eyes to that. And then, it was on then. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's got to be dangerous because I was like, you know why I said that for you? Because I'm like, if you was watching a play at that young of an age and you saying that you was seeing like, and you was really understanding it, it's like, if you read a book, because I get that. When I get into books, it's like, I get there and I'm like, oh, I'm in it. So I'm literally like in the pages, like
exactly.
What's going on. So I could just imagine now. That shocks your brain. You ready to do that, and then
man, listen. So when I get back to college after that, man, shut up. Listen, baby. They caught the blues. You know what I'm saying? Because Boston University is a predominantly white college.
So you was in your bag.
Oh, I was in my bag. Man, in the classrooms, anytime they brought up some racist shit, I was on their ass.
You challenge it.
I'm on their ass. You know what I'm saying? They going, man. Oh, man, listen. Man. So, like I said, this is during a time when Mandela is in prison. Right. South Africa is, doing what it's doing. And, of course, the university is still invested in a lot of businesses in South Africa.
Okay.
So now I'm a part of a group of other, conscious brothers on the campus called Men of the Stolen Legacy. Okay. We call it Muscle for short. So we are organizing rallies. We bringing in radical, militant leaders to the campus and, the whole 9 yards. I'm just raising hell, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my God.
So I think the last straw was, and interesting, going back to Shakespeare, how Shakespeare's always kind of weaves its way back to my life. So they do a production of King Lear.
Okay.
And King Lear is this old man, and he's got these 3 daughters. So the one black actress who gets cast in the thing, she gets cast as one of the daughters, but this is like she's got the least amount of lines, the whole 9 yards. So I'm already peeped at that. So I go to watch it, boom, boom, boom. And brother, the only thing I can remember is they got this girl on her knees the entire time that she's on the stage. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, she's the character that stood up to King Lear and all of the bullshit and boo. Y'all got her all, So, so they literally have a meeting in the club, in the school, because I'm raising hell about it. So they have a big meeting about it, and I just go in on their ass. Like, I mean, come on, man, what is this? How the black woman, the only black person in the play and book, man, I was mouth. You know what I'm saying? So when I did that, they were like, oh no, you got to go. you got to go. So I think maybe a week later, they called me into the administrative office, and this is how they did it. Because I was on a partial scholarship. My high school paid for one part of the scholarship, and the college paid for the other. That was my first year. And now I'm in the second year. Now the college has to pay for the whole thing. So they pay for the whole thing the first semester, first semester of the second year.
Right.
But they let me know, this next semester, we can't find the money for you for next year. But it was already understood what it really was about. And I took it on the chin, and dealt with all of that came with that. But so that's why I say Boston University gets the gas fees. And I'm hoping to bring some consciousness to college administrators, especially dealing with Black American students, men and women. Listen, you've got to allow us to delve into all of the different political streams and political spectrums that are out there. Just like you allow your white students to do that. You know what I'm saying? You got white anarchists and revolutionaries on your campus. You're not kicking them out.
Right.
Why is it that when the Black students become militant or revolutionary, you feel threatened and they gotta go? You follow what I'm saying? So hopefully that'll bring some awareness to that, to that as well.
So let me ask you this: you read the book now, right?
You really watched the movie.
I just want to make sure that now you
really watched the movie.
I'm just making sure. Y'all gotta go watch the movie.
You gotta watch the movie. I read the book a few times now.
Okay, so now does it make sense now?
Yeah, it makes all the sense.
Okay, I just want to be clear for people, so y'all be like, oh well, I get it. So let me ask you this. This is the last question I want to ask you as well. Do you go watch plays now? Like what your mom
Actually, since I've been
how long have you been home?
It'll be 2.5 years now.
Okay.
May will be 3.
Okay.
Yeah, May 2023 will be 3 years. Yeah. And I'll be off probation, and you really gonna see.
Bless God.
Yeah. They give the mild version of they got a brother or people, so so
Jesus Christ.
Yes, sir. No, sir. You got to get on.
It's almost over. That's what you gotta say. It's almost over.
Yeah.
So listen, before we get out of here, let everybody know how they can follow you on social media, how they can watch the movie. Are you gonna be doing it are you gonna do any plays behind? Are you gonna really do live?
Right now, I'm focusing on filmmaking.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my primary focus. A lot of people have asked me, about the play version of of it, and if I would kind of reproduce it or whatever. So we're thinking about that as well.
And what about Dame Dash Studios?
Dame Dash Studios. Oh yeah, now Dame Dash.
I've seen that printed at the beginning.
Oh yeah, because without them we wouldn't have Tubi.
Oh nice.
Yeah. They are the ones who basically when they saw the movie.
Right.
And was like, we think that this is something that, people need to see. They are the ones that made the arrangement with Tubi to have it played on that. So Dame Dash, Omar Salgado, that's the head of acquisitions of Dame Dash, 100,000 thanks to them brothers. Because they took a chance, you know what I mean?
Nice.
And, they were right with it. But you can follow me on Instagram, CANDS. Can a nigga do Shakespeare? C_A_N_D_S. And you follow my man Tim McCain on Tim McCain Entertainment Network, also on IG. And please catch the movie Can a Nigga Do Shakespeare on Tubi, streaming now. Even if you don't watch it, just play it. Help a brother get some money. Just hit the button. Go ahead, wash your dishes, wash your clothes, do whatever you want to do. Because I can't get into this Shakespeare stuff. But just to help, and support the brothers, man. That's us.
Well, you heard it here first, man. Make sure you go check out my guy, man. 2 words. I'm gone. I holla. See you next time.